Hi, I'm Tracy Townsend, and I'll be bringing you the top stories from around Columbus this week. 10 TV has uncovered even more details surrounding the family at the center of the Vinton County child endangerment case. According to officials, an investigation into two Hocking County men triggered a separate investigation into Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders. We look at how that investigation ultimately led officials to discover their 16 children. The loved ones of a family killed in a crash on Interstate 71 earlier this year called for the removal of a political ad. A relative of the Saposky family said an ad supporting Senator John Husted's campaign used a photo of the couple and their one-year-old son without consent. A fatal shooting in the Short North is raising safety concerns as residents call for more police patrols in the area. We hear from city leaders about how they're working to keep the Short North safe. Let's dive into these stories and more making headlines across Central Ohio.
The Attorney General's office says this all started back in December when an investigation was opened into allegations of sexual abuse involving two children. This led to the indictments and arrests of two South Bloomingville men, 23-year-old Josh Saunders and 40-year-old Brandon Henderson.
One of them does look familiar, the older guy. I know I've seen him somewhere. I just can't put my finger on where.
Neighbor Michaela Hickman says this case is becoming more complex.
No, that is absolutely horrifying. These two people started all of this for them to look into what is actually going on in this household. And I mean, it's such a remote area. It's not shocking that horrible things are going on in homes people don't know.
Officials say this investigation led investigators to look into Elizabeth and Gary Siders Jr. and what ultimately led to the discovery of the 16 children. Both parents are facing sexual battery charges and 2 counts each of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. Officials say the victim is not an immediate family member. Hickman says she's lived in this area for years and hasn't heard any case like this.
You don't truly know your neighbors. With being in so far apart, it's hard to know who someone really is on the inside.
Several doctors have examined Bruce Foster. They all agree Foster is mentally ill. The question, did he know what he did was wrong?
Can you tell me what things he said about that day?
He heard a voice, an auditory hallucination, that said that he didn't have a choice. And that hallucination, in addition to his delusional beliefs, led him to believe that his life was on the line, that the members of the mafia, this organized crime family, these co-workers that he had at KDC-1, were not only plotting to kill him, but planned to kill him.
He told me that he was hoping to be found not guilty by reason of insanity because he wanted to go back to Central Ohio Behavioral Health.
The defense's expert argues Foster's delusions were so strong. While he knew hurting people was wrong, he felt he had no other choice to save his own life.
Mr. Foster was symptomatic with a severe mental disease or defect at the time of the events in question. And as a result of his severe mental disease or defect, he did not know the wrongfulness of the acts charged.
But the rebuttal expert for the prosecutor's office says she believes Foster was exaggerating some of his symptoms and knew what he was doing was wrong.
Yes, he told me that he had experienced homicidal ideation in the past. He in fact said that he didn't want to act in a violent way toward others because, in his words, he knew better.
And as a forensic psychologist who's doing a sanity evaluation, what does that mean to you?
That was notable. That was a notable data point because those were indications that he knew the wrongfulness of harming others.
This memorial marks the fatal crash site where 23-year-old Madison Andrews lost her life. Investigators say a truck driver driving on the road behind me ran a stop sign, killing her. Tonight, her family is speaking out about the accident and the hope they have to change an Ohio traffic law.
I miss her smile. I miss her voice.
A mother's loss.
Miss having my best friend.
A brother's sister gone.
I miss everything about her. I miss seeing her every day. I miss texting her, calling her. I miss everything.
These crash scene photos from the Highway Patrol shows what was left of Madison Andrews' Honda Pilot and the burnt remains of the tractor trailer driven by Calvin Ruffin, who the Highway Patrol says hit her.
In one of the pictures, her engine was 30 feet from her car. There's nothing left of her car.
Madison was driving here on County Road 124 on the way to pick up her brother to go to a wedding. He says he kept calling her, wondering where she was, but she wasn't answering. He says firefighters at the scene couldn't find her phone, but instead found her watch ringing. And that's how they broke the news to him that his sister was in a fatal crash.
I had to call Mom, tell her what happened, and I had to spread the news.
Please be seated.
Ruffin, an independent trucker from Cincinnati, made his first court appearance since the May crash. He's charged with vehicular manslaughter, a second-degree misdemeanor. He entered a plea of not guilty. The family, wearing Madison Strong shirts, wants to see the penalty for the crime changed.
It should be a felony. Like, if you take somebody's life, you should have to do prison time. You shouldn't be just a smack on the wrist and go do 90, 180 days in jail. It's not fair.
According to a civil complaint, Ruffin has a long record of traffic violations, including a license suspension and criminal charges, including drug trafficking, dating back to 1996. Records show he has a valid CDL license. As for the Andrews family, their message to drivers is simple.
People need to pay more attention and slow down.
In West Mansfield, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
What happened just recently it shocks me, it scares me.
Tonight in the Short North, some residents and visitors on edge after a deadly shooting here this weekend. Tony Carter has lived in Columbus 26 years and says he's seen the Short North become less safe.
Would you feel safe being out here at 2 a.m.?
Not anymore. I used to, not anymore.
After 20-year-old Tyjion Clement was killed here Sunday, Carter says he wants to see more patrols.
I hate to see the crime. I really think we need to have more awareness and crime prevention patrols on the weekends, including Sundays.
People who work here say they've seen other changes they believe are hurting the area. Jack Edwards says several businesses have disappeared since he started here last year.
Pretty much all the businesses on this block are just gone now. Once it gets dark out, I wouldn't walk around here probably.
Ethan Halperin lives on the block and says more police presence can help, but he's not seeing it.
And have you seen an increased police presence this summer?
I don't think so. I think that they've been taking the back seat for sure.
But city leaders say they're already investing in safety here.
Is the city doing enough to keep the Short North safe?
Well, we have been working with the leadership of the Short North, working with business owners over the last several months to make sure that this was not just a safe summer in the Short North, but throughout the city.
Council President Shannon Hardin noting council has provided the Short North Alliance hundreds of thousands of dollars in safety grants since 2023 and says conversations are ongoing.
I know council worked to send additional resources to the Short North Alliance for safety, and we will continue to work with them to make sure that the Short North is safe.
It was painful to see not only their image used in such a context, but also to have footage of the crash be, shoved in everyone's faces repeatedly.
Jesse Mallon is talking about a political ad opposing Sherrod Brown that uses a photo of his sister Linnea Saposky, her husband Luke, and their son Logan, along with news video of the crash scene in which they died.
This was footage that some members of the family and friends have deliberately avoided seeing because of how painful it is.
Semi-driver Modu Nagom is charged with 3 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide and 4 counts of vehicular assault for the crash. Mallon sent this letter to the Husted campaign asking that the advertisement be removed immediately. He says neither the family nor the photographer gave permission to use the photo.
The goal was always to protect the legacy of Linnea, Luke, and Logan, and the privacy of the family as a whole.
10 TV asked Senator Husted's campaign if the ad would be removed. A spokesperson told us the ad was created by the National Republican Senatorial Committee PAC. So we also asked the NRSC if it would pull it. In a statement to 10 TV, the NRSC said in part, quote, "Our ad campaigns will continue to hold Sherrod Brown accountable." Mallon says the ad is not the way he wants his sister's family to be remembered.
I want them to be remembered for the beloved members of the community that they were.
And Mellon had one final point. He asks any political entity, left, right, or center, to consider how the content of their ads could impact families like this one has affected his. Also, a source familiar with the ad campaign tells 10 TV that specific ad has already finished its scheduled run and has been replaced, but was not pulled in response to the family's concerns.
And tonight we want Jalen's family to know something, that you are not out here standing alone.
Hundreds gathered at Crum Park Thursday night to remember 11-year-old Jalen Payne, known to many as Big J.
Every candle, every balloon, every tear, every hug, and every prayer says the same thing, that Big J mattered.
His mom says Jalen died Wednesday after collapsing at football practice, in front of her, in the same park where people gathered tonight. He had just started the 6th grade.
Everything shattered at 6:45 p.m. yesterday, and I'm just confused. How did it come about? My mind exploded. Just seeing my son lay down on that ground, it was too much.
She says now she's thinking about everything they didn't get a chance to do, from 6th grade graduation to senior prom.
All my milestones I wanted to do with my son, I can't do because my son's gone.
Now she says she'll lean on her village, especially as her 6-year-old daughter struggles to understand her big brother is gone.
My son had a lot of people that love him, a lot of people, and I'm so grateful for that.
Jalen's loved ones say he was passionate about football, karate, playing the drums at church, video games, and dreamed of one day being an Ohio State Buckeye.
Every time I ran into him, he had a smile on his face. He was laughing and playing with his friends. He loved football. And every time the coach could call his number, like, they could depend on him. He was a good kid.
His Columbus Raiders coaches and teammates were among those here tonight. So were coaches and players from other teams, competitors on the field, but one village off of it.
So today represented who we are and when we come together instead of going against each other. Everybody who came out to support, it just shows love.
That love filled the sky tonight with balloons and fireworks to honor Jalen's life.
Forever in our hearts, forever a Raider, forever number 57.
And Jalen's family members and loved ones tell me they will continue to find ways to honor him. Forever, number 57. Reporting live in Columbus, Libby Cathy, 10 TV News.
Tariffs and toilet paper. It's the latest tug of war between the U.S. and Canada. And soon this may cost you a lot more of these.
If shopping for groceries weren't expensive enough, toilet paper may be the next item that could go up in price.
Yeah, I think we all have a little PTSD about toilet paper after COVID. And here's another case where products like toilet paper, I think, will get impacted.
The price of TP is expected to rise as the trade war between the U.S. and Canada escalates. While the U.S. makes toilet paper, it's the pulp from trees in Canada that American companies depend on. Professor Keely Croxton is an expert on logistics. She says if Canada does charge the U.S. more for trees, it will impact more than the price you see at the store.
If they continue to escalate, I think that's going to be the effect on the economy. We'll possibly see both rising prices, which will directly impact consumers, also possible layoffs.
She cautions consumers that news of Canada's threatened tariffs shouldn't mean a run to the store now.
I worry a little bit that wholesalers or consumers will read this, kind of read those tea leaves and hear about these increasing prices and say, okay, I got to load up on my toilet paper, right? Which then creates a whole new problem. So I also want to send a message to the viewers that we kind of need to wait and see how this plays out. I wouldn't rush out and load up on toilet paper. That's going to create an even bigger problem.
Because the last thing you want to do is flush your cash down the drain. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Inside the Carl Road Library branch in North Columbus stands Dolly Parton. Well, a cardboard cutout of her. And next to Dolly, Holly Muster helps families enroll in Dolly's Imagination Library.
There's nothing quite like it, and I think that's why everyone loves it so much, is because it's just an amazing program that's free.
Holly says staff members were devastated when the news of Dolly's passing came Tuesday. But in the spirit of Dolly, they knew what they had to do.
And we were thinking about how we're going to continue her legacy. So a little in shock, and then we thought, what would Dolly do? So we regrouped and we're ready and excited for our Dolly Week.
Dolly Week is an initiative staff members at the Carl Road branch came up with over the past 2 years. It kicks off in January around the week of Dolly's birthday.
We have a Dolly-inspired story time. We have a bluegrass band come, lots of Dolly book displays. She has cookbooks, she has music books, children's books she's written.
Workers here at the Carl Road branch say this year's Dolly Week will be a little bit different, but like Dolly would have wanted, they're going to march on and make it bigger and better. The celebration goes beyond books. Staff members also host food and hygiene drives and help families at Dolly Week enroll in the Imagination Library if they're not already. Ohio has long led the way when it comes to the Imagination Library, becoming one of the first states to offer bilingual books and enroll foster children. Today, every baby born in an Ohio hospital is automatically enrolled.
You don't have to bring any documentation, no ID, you don't need income verification or anything, and that's what's beautiful about the program. Anyone who has a child 0 to 5 can sign up.
And as we continue to mourn the loss of a music legend and champion for children's literacy, we also turn the page, carrying Dolly Parton's legacy forward. In Columbus, Amy Stuggerwald, 10 TV News.
In order for Ohio to sustain its growing job base, Governor Mike DeWine said everyone needs to work.
We can't lose anybody.
And he means everybody.
We have more people with disabilities today who are actually working.
And he says there are those who are behind bars who will need jobs.
We have to look at the 18,000 people that come out of our prisons every year.
At the Heart of Opportunity Tour, hosted at Anderl, the state's largest job creator, presidents of Ohio State and Columbus State emphasized the importance of aligning their curriculums to help provide employers with a skilled workforce.
43% of Ohio State graduates now are STEM graduates. We're going to be 51% by next year. So we're making a big push in the STEM disciplines which will power our state.
Columbus State touted its Earn and Learn program that started 15 years ago with 2 companies.
We're 15 years into that program now, and it really has created an ecosystem that's repeatable. We've got over 30 companies now that are part of the Modern Manufacturing Work Study program.
As successful as the programs are, companies looking to grow in the state are finding it hard to find skilled workers.
We need people to build our things.
Anderl says it chose Ohio over every state in the country because of what it called the density of talent here within an hour's drive of its Pickaway County campus. It says to sustain its plan to build 5 to 7 more buildings for its autonomous drone production line, the state must continue to invest in both people from four-year colleges and technical colleges.
We have, within an hour's drive, northwest, east, south, the workforce that we need over the next few years. But that's not what delivers this outcome. That's not what sustains this outcome. You know, we have to rely on the ability to keep delivering those students, keep delivering the curriculum that bring the skills in that we need based on what we manufacture today.
Anderl says it's on track to hire 4,000 people by the year 2035, and it's betting on Ohio's high-skilled labor force to get them there. Reporting live downtown, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
That's a wrap on this week's edition of Around Columbus, your look at the stories shaping Central Ohio. Thanks for spending time with us. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, you can always get the latest updates on the go with the free 10 TV News app.